Hello my students, and welcome to another video. Today I'm going to be talking about soaps. So let's assume you're making a soap today, and in that soap, just you're making black soap, which is our very common soap here. And your black soap, you're putting all sorts of acids and powders and all of that. Remember, we've talked about pH and understanding that certain powders and ingredients need to be at a stable pH. Now, in the process of making black soap, for soap to lather very well, it needs to be very alkaline. So alkaline means more lather. But if, for example, you're using your black soap on the scale is as high as 13 alkalinity, and in your black soap, you are now putting in acids like lactic acid, which lactic acid needs to be at a pH of, just so that I'm giving you correct information, lactic acid needs to be at a pH of 3.5 to 5, which is the same thing with glycolic acid and salicylic acid. Okay? So when you're putting them in a product, they need to be at a stable pH of 5. Now your soap is already of an alkaline level of 11. What do you think? Do you think that ingredient is going to function in your formulation? And remember, if you bring down the alkalinity of this product, it's going to lather anymore. So these are some things you need to consider when you're mixing your soaps. Some of these active ingredients affect pH of soap, whereas botanical extracts and powders sometimes don't really have any pH effect on products. Some of them might, but that's a research for you to carry out. But powders, actually active ingredients that we put, do not and should not be in those products, because they are not going to be, your final product is going to be at like a pH of 8 or 10, 11. So it's going to be void. So that's why when we see black soap and you put all sorts of acids and all of that, either you're bringing down the pH of that product and you're adding a booster, something that's going to give it a foaming effect. Because how am I going to use a product, a soap, not a cleanser? Of course, you've seen the different types of cleansers. But if I'm going to be making a soap that doesn't lather well, I don't think that's going to be a pleasant bath. So there are some soaps that don't lather so well. That's because they want the actives to be active in them, but they've added some sort of foaming agents to it to give it its cleansing effect. Okay, so you want to be very, very certain of the ingredients you're adding to your soaps. Now, if you want to make a soap that is active, like I said, you can add a foaming booster, a foaming in product or active into it to make it foamy. But then, if you're making black soaps, you want to make like raw black soap, like African black soaps, please don't add salicylic acid and the rest of that if you're not going to add a booster to it, because those powders are just going to be wasted in the ingredients, in the formulation, because the pH of a product is 8, so it's not going to be active. So that is something you want to look out for when you're mixing your products. Okay.